Good evening, welcome back to the Gourmet Pantry. Today we're going to be having a look at Christmas cake. As it is the season, I think we're only about 4 days until Christmas Day, getting quite excited. Don't be worried by the massive ingredients you see in front of me, it really can be broken down quite simply. Fruit, butter, sugar, eggs and flour. Not forgetting a little bit of spice as well. We're making a basic cake and just adding in a huge ton of fruit. Here there's 1.4 kilograms, whatever you want. I mean honestly, this is personally what I think is a good selection of fruits and comes out with a really lovely flavour, so feel free to copy this, but generally you can put in any kind of dried fruit you like, as long as they're all pretty much uniform sizes, otherwise you get some sinking to the bottom, and you obviously don't want that. To give you a quick breakdown, this is what we've got. 300 grams of glacé cherries, roughly chopped, 300 grams of chopped dates, 300 grams of sultanas, 300 grams of roughly chopped dried apricots, 200 grams of candied lemon and orange peel, 150 grams of dried cranberries, and 140 grams of dried mixed fruit. Now that is our fruit section. As I said, do not have to go with this if you don't want to. That's just personally what I've developed over the years, and this is our hearty family fruit selection. On top of the dried fruit, you'll be needing obviously a couple of other ingredients. We have 300 grams of plain flour, 1.5 tablespoons of mixed spice, 250 grams of ground almonds, salt for a little bit of seasoning, 375 grams of butter, add extra for greasing the pan, 10 medium-sized eggs, juice of 1 lemon, 375 grams of sugar. Now this sugar is a mix of loads of different types, soft brown, non-soft brown, got granulated white, castor in there which I thought I'd finish off, and I've got some coconut sugar which I didn't even know existed until I saw it in the supermarket. So we'll see how that goes. But really, any sugars, pop them in. If you're going to only use one type of sugar, remember that different sugars can absorb different amounts of water. Therefore, adapt your recipe for the sugars you're using. And half a wine glass of whiskey, which I don't have yet. I'm going to pop out to the supermarket to get it, but no worries because it goes on right at the end after it comes out of the oven, so I'll have a good couple of hours. Bear in mind, this isn't a fast recipe. It is a 4-hour cooking time, and also after you've taken it out of the oven, the longer you leave it, the better it is, within reason. So first things first, pop the oven on to 170 degrees centigrade, which is about 335 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, key to this recipe is we don't want anything sticking together. So have a little look over your fruit and see which ones are the sticky ones. Things like chopped and dried dates are, as you can see, pretty dry and they're not going to be sticking together anytime soon. On the other hand, cherries are incredibly gloopy, as is the candied peel. So what we're going to do to help split these up is we're going to add these to our bowl first and add a little bit of flour on top of them, just so we can help separate them, so they don't turn into one globuled mass in the cake. Grab a sieve, pop in your flour, and as you give this a little bit of a shake, just mix everything up so it all gets a nice coating of flour and ceases to be sticky. Keep adding the flour until it's all gone. Lovely. Make sure as you're working through it, you look out for the cherries that are all stuck together. You want to be breaking those up. There we go, I think we're about there. Chuck in a pinch of salt, your mixed spices, your ground almonds, and all the rest of the fruit. It's a good idea to have a big bowl. And it looks like this one isn't quite big enough, but I think we'll manage. Give everything a good stir through. And there we have a bowl of our dry ingredients and a lot more space. Set this somewhere safe and get to work on your butter and sugar. In a mixing bowl, cream all of your sugar and all of your butter together. If it's room temperature, it helps, but if it's not, just cut it into small cubes. Now the butter's in, pop in the sugar, pop it on the mixer, head down, and start it on slow speed until everything starts to come together. Start to add your egg. One by one, and drop them carefully into the bowl. If you're at all worried about getting any shell in there, crack them into a bowl first. As you can see, it's starting to form a wet batter. Easy as that. Once you've incorporated all of the eggs, you can start adding dry ingredients. Spoonful by spoonful, just chuck it all in. Once the mixture starts to thicken a bit, you can pretty safely put all the ingredients in. As long as they fit in the bowl, we'll soon find out. This is where it can sometimes get a little bit messy. Right, having just about survived that, it's time to grease and line the pan, pour this in and chuck it in the oven. Grab yourself a square baking tin with a removable bottom that will fit all of that mixture. This is the make or break for a cake. The last thing you want it to do is stick. So as a result, we're going to butter the inside of the baking tin, line it, and then pour the mixture in. Grab a little bit of butter, start rubbing it all the way around the inside of the tin. Once you've buttered the inside of the cake tin, it's time to line it. Overkill is better than underkill. I'm going to measure around the outside of the cake tin and then cut. And I'm going to pop this inside the tin, right up against the edge. We don't need it to be so high, so we can quickly snip this off. Keep this, it's going to be a second layer. Next, we're going to cut a square piece. And this is going in the base. Then we're going around the edge again. And one more square in the bottom. Now we can grab our ingredients and just spoon them into the base. Starting in the middle, just drop them in, and then as a pile slowly builds up, just massage it out to the sides, and it'll push the wall of baking paper out, allowing you to fill the whole box. And there we have our Christmas cake. Now the oven's already come up to temperature, so pop it in for 1 hour. After an hour, reduce the heat to 130 degrees centigrade, about 265 degrees Fahrenheit for another 3 hours. If it looks like it's burning on the top, don't be scared to cover it with some foil just to protect it from getting a bit too singed. You'll know when it's done because you can put it in a skewer, take it out, and the skewer should be clean, as is the test for most cakes. If you're using a thermometer, it's about 100 degrees centigrade or 212 degrees Fahrenheit will mean the middle's cooked. Welcome back. It's been going on 4 hours now. After an hour, I took it out of the oven, covered it up, turned the oven down to 130 as I mentioned, popped it back in again. With half an hour to go, I took the covering off, and now we're ready to see how it's turned out. I wish you could be in the kitchen right now. The smell is incredible. It looks, helpfully, exactly as it should. Nice and brown on the top. The occasional raisin or bit of fruit that's come through has gone nicely dark. Perfect colour, perfect consistency. And now the acid test. Take a stick, stick it in, wait for a sec, bring it out, clean as a whistle. And that's what you want. You don't want bits of mixture stuck to the stick or anything like that. This is perfect, we know it's cooked in the middle. So now, grab your stick again and punch a few holes in the top. Just like so. So we can pour in the whiskey. And we want it to soak in right through the cake. About half a glass worth of whiskey. Thumb over the end. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. It's just sizzling away. The smell is incredible. Now, what you've got to do is leave that to stand for another hour or two for it to cool. Just like a cookie, it's still going to be quite soft. We won't be able to take it out of its casing until it's cooled down. So take a tea towel, pop it over the top, and leave that for a couple of hours. Welcome back to the final stage. It's a couple of hours later. It's cooled nicely, although still slightly warm, firmed up much more than it was before. As a result, hopefully, we should be able to put a little bit of pressure on the bottom. Oh, look at that. And have the cake slide perfectly out of the top. Now, we peel away our expertly wrapped paper. There we have an absolutely perfect Christmas cake. Let's have a little taste. It's fruity, sharp and sweet all at the same time. Absolutely delicious. Pop this on the table, you won't be disappointed. Perfect thing to whip out for a family lunch. As always, if you'd like this video, please hit like below and also subscribe. And if you've got any questions or any comments, please chuck them in the comments section below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Enjoy!